Hello, beloveds. Welcome to day 4 of the Cheyenne Show. I have been talking and expressing and embodying a lot about ecstatic living, this sense of aliveness in the body because of the direct connection that we have to Source and opening our perspective and our felt sense open to this pure channel of creative life force energy so that we can be the embodiments of pure creative potential and form that we are. That's ecstatic living. That is the first pillar in my work, Soul Embodiment Experiences. What really makes ecstatic living possible is having deep roots and an unshakable core. So while ecstatic living can just feel so, everything is possible. Like I talked yesterday about having this flu-like thing going through my body and how I can still just feel this aliveness even as I'm walking through that. There's two things with that. Number one, it's a choice. It's a choice to move through the world and see everything as full of the divine perfection and mystery and magic that it is. That's just a choice. And why? Because then we actually get to feel ourselves, remember ourselves as expressions, as embodiments of that mystery and magic and divinity. But to actually sustain that while you're in physical form, that takes deep roots and an unshakable center, because if a huge part of ecstatic living is moving towards your fears, is actually stepping into the places that bring a sense of, I can't, I'm not enough, I'm afraid, I might die, they might judge me. All of these stories that are rooted in the illusion of separation, that we're separate from spirit, that there's something, that any part of our beings is incorrect or somehow like this flaw in the design. To have the capacity to move towards those things, you have to know how to root down into this ground, into this dimension, into this 3D physical form, and in all aspects of what it means to be in these bodies. And you have to have that place of unshakable, the unshakable center. Like nobody, nothing and nobody can take away my divine dignity. Divine dignity. I am dignified as the being that I am because the fucking creator made me so. So I don't need someone to approve of me. I don't need someone to give me permission. Okay? I am who I am because I am. Period. And it's my opportunity. It's one of the gifts I'm given, is to fully own that and embody that, so that the gift of the creator can be given to us, which is feeling ourselves as this pure creative potential in form, feeling this full pulsating life force energy, like I talked about. Black Moon Lilith really helps us reconnect to. That's the unshakable core, the divine dignity. It's like through all the stories in my head, through all the stories of the traumas I went through in the past, through all the stories of society and my family and the overculture, at the end of the day, I don't listen to any of those. I make space for them. I get the support I need for them when I need it. But at the end of the day, the only voice I listen to is the voice of God within me, which says, I am that I am. I was made in divine perfection. So what does that part of me tell me to do? Is that part of me asking me to expand in a direction that feels scary? well, I choose that voice over all else because I know that that also means I'm equipped with everything I need to move in that direction. But how do we sustain that? How do we sustain divine dignity? Because part of being a human is forgetting. We constantly forget. Like, I talk about this all the time, and I have my own waves of like, this is terrifying. I don't know if I can. I don't know if the resources are there. I don't know. Deep roots. Okay? This is where practice comes in, and this is the second pillar in Soul Embodiment Experiences in my work. Ecstatic living is the first. It's the seed of pure potential that we are, and choosing to live by that all the time, every moment of every day, because it liberates our full power, our soul power. But in order to do that every day, we have to step into the second pillar, which is sacred responsibility. Sacred responsibility is taking responsibility for this power that you have as pure creative potential in form, which means we have to tend to the 3D physical part of being alive, that we are on this earth in this very material existence. Even if the truth is that we're limitless pure creative potential in form, we are playing around in this material form. So to take full responsibility, to take sacred responsibility for ourselves as pure creative potential in form, it means we need to know ourselves and tend to ourselves on an everyday basis, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Okay? If I'm given this, the greatest gift of all, to be pure creative potential in form, it's my job to take responsibility for that. Nobody can take it away from me, okay? So I'm not a victim in this. I have to show up and tend that well every day. So for me, it's like every day that means I'm doing some form of physical movement, usually a combination of several things. I stretch every morning when I get out of bed to move the fascia in my body, right? To get those energies flowing, so that I can allow that pure creative life force energy to move through me. I love high intensity interval training. So like, I like to get my heartbeat up for short, fast periods of time. I love to dance. I love to walk in nature. I'm doing something like that every day. And it's not just for the physical health. It's like when I have my physical state of being in a good place, it allows more of this pure creative potential and form to come more into my form, this pure creative potential. I'm tending to myself mentally. I write every morning. I'm a big writer, so that's important for me. So that's just one example. I meditate, so it's actually then to clear, to make space into my mind so that divine thoughts can come through, not just the hamster wheel. Emotionally, that has so much to do, it kind of ties into a lot of this. Like, dancing for me is physical as much as it is emotional. I focus on pleasure. So I talked about somatic pleasure the other day, getting into the body and letting it move in a really organic way that it wants to move. And when I'm feeling a wave of emotion, frustration, fear, joy, whatever it is, it's like, I don't just override that. I get present with it. I let it move through my body, and then I allow the emotions to come through that. So the other night I expressed how this intense frustration was coming out. Sometimes then tears will just naturally come. I'm allowing the wisdom of emotions, energy and motion to move and express how they need to again, so that I'm taking sacred responsibility for keeping this vessel not in stagnation, to keep all of the energies and functions flowing so that I can allow more and more and more of this life force energy in, so that I can actually answer to my soul's directives, so that I can be in the greatest level of service for not only everyone I come in contact with, but for the clients that I work with, as a healer, as a creative leader in my life, in my business. It's my sacred responsibility to tend to all these things, to make space for as much of this life force energy so that I can, as full as I can in every moment, actualize my soul's callings, my soul's direction, so that I can be of greatest service. okay? And spiritually, I talked about meditation, but it's also direct communion with the spirit world. I'm following the energies of astrology because it's literally a relationship. Just like you have a relationship to your body, you have a relationship to your mind, and you have to tend to all these things. The spirit world, this is where we come from. That's actually our truth more than this finite 3D world thing we're doing. That's where we come from. So to tend to that relationship is as essential as eating well every day and moving your body. And we've been living in a humanity that has forgotten that. We have this collective spiritual amnesia that, for one, says it's not even real, but even if we say it's real, we don't look at it as this essential part of our everyday all the time. And it literally is the difference between unlocking the truth of benevolent, loving, wise support available to us all the time, or that we're just doing this all alone and have to put ourselves in contracted, limited places in our life to try to like fabricate this sense of safety because we think that we're separate from all this incredible divine wisdom and benevolence. So for me, I call it communion. Every single day I'm communing with the celestial elders. That's what I call all the planetary bodies, the stars, the planets, the asteroids, and how I'm tracking the movements and what's being activated and bringing my conscious awareness then to the archetypal energies that are being activated in my body and in my life. And then in communion by way of ritual. And this is one of the three main aspects of my work beyond the pillars. It's made up of astrology, somatic pleasure, and ritual embodiment practices. So again, just not talking about what transit is happening in the sky, but like the other night when I had Black Moon Lilith rising up in me because this eclipse hugely activated Black Moon Lilith. I bring my conscious awareness to it and I become this archetypal embodiment because the celestial elders are literally telling me your next breakthrough, you being able to hear your intuition right now, the surge of energy or momentum or clarity that you're needing, it's gonna come through attuning to this celestial activation that's happening right now. So become it. Do the divine dance of co-creation, right? And then in communion and these ritual embodiment practices, that's one example of like becoming the archetypal energies, but it's also taking the insights and the breadcrumbs that we get from our soul and from our well ancestors and our benevolent spirit guides and actually making it tangible, giving them offerings. Like you're giving me all this benevolence and support in energetic form that I then receive through receive in my body by feeling it, by making sense of it in my mind. Let me tend to this relational well so it can keep growing and expanding, not only for my own good, but for the good of the all of everything, because we're all in this together, the non-human family, our spirit kin, and all of our human family. Let me tend to the well, okay? So I'm going to keep getting clear messages, but it's so much bigger than myself. I'm honoring my family, my spirit family. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And in this relationship between myself and these spirit kin, we are honoring and serving on behalf of the fucking collective evolution of human consciousness. That's why we're doing this. So, ecstatic living, yes, bright, shiny, tapping into this level of courageousness and fucking vitality that ignites people that you're around every day and ignites the people that you're here to serve. But it takes a level of sacred responsibility of all aspects of your being to be able to embody ecstatic living on a day-to-day basis. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Those are all of our components, and when we consciously work with and embody, step into the embodiment of all those aspects of ourself, that's when we actualize ourselves as the clearest channel, as the satellite who can receive the clearest, strongest transmission from the highest part of ourselves, so that we can experience the fullness of who we came here to be, so that we can serve our people. So, the activation session, we have, tomorrow is the last day that you can purchase this session to get yourself tapped into the highest level of sacred responsibility in this time of the eclipse portal, the last eclipse portal of 2025, so that you are inviting this sense of wisdom, this divine wisdom and intelligence, not just into your mental awareness of, yes, you're going to get the transits that are going on for you, but this isn't just an astrology reading of the transits. We're going directly to your soul, your ancestors, and your benevolent spirit guides to say, what are they most needing to know right now, so that they can activate this ecstatic living, drawing in that divine birthright of feeling yourself as pure creative potential and form, this vitality and creative energy just oozing through you. And then how does that want to be applied? Like, where is the most alive area in your life right now where that wants to be expressed? And it's not always, when we're going through crucibles in our life, like intense choice points or crossroads or identities dying, and like, oh my gosh, as a healer, as a creative leader, as this creative person in my life, this thing that I thought was completely me and the basis of my work or the basis of my life or the relationships I'm in, it's crumbling, it's dying, and I'm scared to let go because I don't know what's going to come out of it. We have this divine blueprint with astrology and this divine inherent capacity to connect with soul, ancestors, and guides, to understand what these crucibles, why they're happening right now, what's the cosmic timing, and how can I leverage this? And to my spirit kin, where's the best way to, what's the best way to move forward? What's the insight I need to know? What's the energy, the metaphorical message that's going to support me for moving forward at this moment in time, so I can have the breakthrough, so I can have that release of the fear energy of the illusion of separation that then allows clarity to come through, that allows more synchronicity to be recognized, that allows that, oh, that's how I can bring this thing through that I'm working on in an even clearer and more aligned and ecstatically alive way.